Hi, my name is Chris Phils. I am the Managing Director for Raymond James, covering our Chicagoland market, and I have the esteemed pleasure to welcome Jackie Joyner-Kersee here with us. She's a 4-time Olympian, 6-time Olympic medalist, and 3 gold medals. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, I'm amazed. You just rocked the stage here at our annual conference. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came from East St. Louis to be a 6-time Olympian.
I grew up in East St. Louis and had a dream. Coaches who saw the potential in me that I did not know that I had, and I set my sights on wanting to make an Olympic team. My idea was I just want to be on television, but eventually had my first experience as a high schooler, senior in high school, went to the Olympic trials, and it was a lot tougher than what I could imagine because it takes more than just the physical. Mm-hmm. You got to have the mental components and put it all together and then perform, on the days you need to perform. And so having really strong family background, from my parents. My mom didn't really know a lot about athletics, but my dad was very instrumental in helping her to allow me to do athletics, and that was the beginning.
Yeah, so the mental aspect is just amazing, right? You think about competing at that level over a consistent period of time. How did you do that?
So when you first start off, for me, it was how do I make an Olympic team? Mm-hmm. Not knowing that there are qualifying standards, and then once I hit those standards, then you find yourself making a team. Mm-hmm. So it was more about, okay, if I make the Olympic team, but then to me, it wasn't just about making a team. Right. I want to put myself in a position where I could win, gold, silver, or bronze. And what is that going to take? Yeah. And that's when the coaching comes in and being prepared, in athletics. I know for me, I don't think I should get injured, even though I'm asking my body to go through these 7 different tasks. Right. And when your body breaks down, it breaks down. Yeah. But you have to understand, you have to adapt, you have to be able to adjust and still believe in the team and still get out there and execute to the best of my ability. Easy said than done.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so trusting in practice when you have that moment when the entire world's watching you and you've prepared and you've had your coaching. So, you talk about winning in our last session here, and what separates good to great?
For me, what separates good to great and winning for me is not being first. Is knowing that I gave 100%. Mm-hmm. And when I think good to great is that I just don't want to be good at it. I want to be the best. Wow. And I want to be the best version of myself, knowing that I went out there and executed to the best of my ability. Wow. And never being complacent. Yeah. Realizing that you might reach this certain goal. Okay, I'm going to go back, regroup, celebrate it. But then it's time to go back to the drawing board and get back out there, continue to work hard, continue to remain coachable, continue to do the things that your coach is asking you to do, and get out there and perform to the best of your ability.
That's amazing. So just walk us through the mid-1980s. You're going through your run. Tell us about that, where you're winning the medals and you had maybe a couple setbacks and you come back and you continue to win.
So one is, as a young person, you dream, you want to do this. But then when you have the opportunity to bring it to fruition, it's like, whoa, now that you're in it, and all focus is on, okay, training, physio, going to the weight room, nutrition, doing all these things to prepare yourself. And so being a multi-eventer and heptathlete, my schedule was designed like my competition schedule. So if I'm going to the Olympic trials or Olympic games, I might start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that means I'm on the track at 6 o'clock. And then I might not leave that track until 8 in the evening. So it's like 12-hour days. But it's not like you're doing something every hour on the hour. You're learning to conserve your energy. You're learning when do you need to eat, when you need to replenish your fluids, when to go see the physio, when to go do my weightlifting, when to come back and do my run. And that becomes your routine.
And so being a champion, and you've made the transition into doing a lot of good things in the community, especially back where you're from. And my take on it is that, you're an Olympian and you're also an Olympian in the community. which is amazing. So tell us about some of the things that you're doing in your organization and why you chose to support the different areas that you do.
So growing up in East St. Louis and always hearing nothing good come from your community, but I know there are a lot of great people there that really was not only making a difference in my life, but also in the lives of the other young people that's coming through the community doors or through the schools. And so for me, not realizing that the Olympics would give me a platform to be able to talk about my community, talk about the work that I wanted to do outside the athletic field, then being able to go back in the community and allowing those students and people to touch me, be able to have conversation with me, not just seeing me on the television or reading about me in the newspaper at that time.
Yeah.
So for me, it's having the same mindset, focusing on what I could control on the field, executing what my coaches prepared me to do, having the same mindset off the field. The community work is understanding what can I control? How can we meet people where they are? How can we help make a difference in their lives? Not try to make them something that they're not, but inspiring them to believe the impossible is probable.
That's awesome. So what core values do you live by and that you kind of run your organization with?
So, our core values is really dealing with integrity, and hard work, commitment, service, values, goals. All those are a part of my winning in life curriculum. But, and really, and for me, faith, believing in God and knowing that even when times are going good, how thankful I am. And even through some of the darkest time, and then helping to ask for guidance and understanding, even through when you see the complexity of different things that's happening and you're not sure and you might second guess. And that's the time where you lean stronger on your faith and know that things are going to work out.
Yeah, you said something earlier on stage where you said, I'm never alone. When you're getting ready to take off and you can't, be disqualified. And you've got peace, and you've got that moment where you just know that you're ready. Like me personally, it's 5:30 in the morning where ideas and everything just kind of flows, and if that gets disrupted, then it can just go around. So, do you have a daily routine that you follow?
I do. I'm up early in the morning, believe it or not, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm actually at my center by 6:30 in the morning.
Every day.
Yes, and. My board and some of the people, they be like, you calling us at what time?
Yeah.
But I do think it's very important, like even this morning, had a conversation with a few people yesterday, and this morning I got up and I thought about it and I reminded them to always remain thoughtful and be positive, not to allow people to change, what we're trying to do. There's a reason that we all came together. And it's to remember the positive vibes. And even when people have a difficult time in understanding, don't allow their emotions and their thought process to change what you believe and that you become negative. So meditating in the morning, I get up and with the weather not favorable, in our gymnasium, I walk about an hour and then might do a little weightlifting and then next thing I know, either getting on a call or, So
remaining coachable.
Yes.
That was a big one.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that are coachable, some not coachable. Are you able to identify that right away?
Yes, you can identify right away those who want to be challenging and missing the mark. And missing the mark, all I might ask of you is just to listen. Can you just execute what I ask you to do? Then show me what you're trying to do. Right. So when remaining coachable is that sometimes we're very impatient. We want things right away. Yeah. And that the coach might see that you're getting there, but because you want it right now, and you wanted it right away, is that you're not allowing yourself to evolve, to grow, and to learn from good experiences or bad experiences. And you can take something from it that can make you a much stronger person. When you're in that situation of being a leader, how are you going to connect with someone that might resemble the same actions that you displayed when a advisor or a coach was saying, I need you to do this. I'm your eyes. I'm your ears. I'm not going to mislead you.
Yeah. Sounds like trusting the process, like what you did throughout your career, just knowing that your coach and your team had you ready and trusting the process when you're 5:30 in the morning by yourself and it's cold outside.
Yeah. And and that's that's key when you talk about trusting the process, because it's easy for people to say, "Oh, I trust the process," and then when you get in a situation, you start having doubt. Yeah. And I see it a lot in athletics, and I know with a lot of the athletes that we work with, and you have to remind them, because some of them are so great at what they're doing, and just a little step of negativity or being exposed to social media, somebody might say something, it really distracts them. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're questioning the process instead of trusting in the process.
Like you said on stage, it's easier said
oh my gosh.
Than done. So a lot of our listeners, some are just starting out in their business, some have been doing this for many years, very successful. What advice would you give someone starting their business today and someone that's been doing it for a while, that's been ultra successful and looking to maintain consistency?
I would say my advice to someone starting off is really believe that this is what you want to do. We talk about passion and purpose, but then also know that there'll be some, I guess, road bumps along the way, and you're going to be challenged. But I think when you're challenged, it would test your character and test if this is what you really want to do. Understand, when I talked about improving 1/10 of a second, if I was running 1/2 an inch, if I was jumping, even in the business, how you can see yourself improving 1%, and what do that 1% look like? Understanding exactly where you want to be. I wouldn't put a time limit to it. Just know that every day you're working towards whatever that big picture should look like. Right. And it's very important to identify the people who you want a part of your circle. There is the inner circle, and then there's the outer circle of people that that's not the person I want to talk to, because their energy doesn't really mix with the energy of the inner circle. And people that's been doing it for a long time, my encouragement to them, share that knowledge. Yeah. Don't be afraid to really, when they talk about reach one to teach one, I really believe in that. Yeah. And then also help bring that wisdom so someone else can get to where you are. Wow. And being able to help, even if it's the next generation and outside of family is one thing, but then how do you spread the wealth, spread the knowledge that you've been able to succeed at a high level.
That's amazing. So I'll leave you with one more question. Any last thoughts around your organization and what you're looking to do and some things that you're hoping to accomplish here in 2025 and going forward?
Yeah, for the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Foundation this year, we celebrate 25 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, and we're really pushing to start an endowment. Because legacy is very important. This is going to the center and everything will outlive me, but I really wanted to be around for another 25, 50 years. And so that's what we're doing. And then also to continue to see our young people grow and evolve and have them to come back, because some of the workers or young people that came through the doors as children now are youth development, working in the program director, so it's just to make my COO was someone that went on the trip to, when I chartered the plane to New York. Now she's an attorney. Her name is Lisa Reeves, and and making sure when I'm out that things are still running like they should be.
Yeah. They like today.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming down to Tampa with us. We really appreciate your time, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you.